Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast, the audio version of our Facebook Live series, Art Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and I am so excited that you're here to catch the weekly replay of my laid-back yet very inspiring conversations with other full-time professional artists. The purpose of this series is to show aspiring artists like you that it is completely possible to make a great career out of this art thing. And if you ever want to join us live and have your questions answered in real time by myself or featured guests, then just hop over to facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see you there. This episode is sponsored by the Artist Academy Advanced Membership, a program for artists who want to up-level their art game by taking it from a hobby or a side hustle to a full-time art business. I've been a professional artist for over 5 years with paintings in several different countries and a client list that includes high-profile companies such as Bass Pro, O'Reilly's, Duck Commander, and many, many more. So I figured out what it takes to build an art business, and now my heart is set on teaching aspiring artists like you to do the same. Go to advancedmember.com, that's advancedmember.com to learn more. If you're multi-passionate, listen up. Being multi-passionate is amazing until you're knee-deep in one project and everything's going well, and then bam, you get the itch to try something new and exciting because your current route isn't quite as exciting as when you started it. Like the beginning of a painting isn't exactly as fun as, say, the middle or near the end. Now, I don't want to come off as a know-it-all on this subject because I am definitely not, but I do want to share my personal experience with being extremely multi-passionate. The main point that I want to make throughout this entire podcast is this. If you want to go in another direction, just expect your current direction to either stay exactly where it is or start to suffer a little bit. And this really just goes back to the popular quote, "The grass is greener where you water it." Do you get what I'm putting down? You will succeed in the thing that you put the most effort into. For example, if you're currently trying to make it as an artist and you have a couple commissions coming in here and there, but are getting a little bored of trying to stay consistent, then your sister comes in saying she would love some help starting up her own hobby business, and she hypes it up and gets you all excited about it, and you're thinking you might want to try it out with her for a bit. Just know that, one, your art business will not advance any further. It might stay the same. You might continue to just kind of keep getting little commissions here and there. It'll probably stay the same, but it's probably not going to advance very much. And two, you will eventually get that same boring feeling that you're at right now in your current business. You will get that in her business later on as well. It happens. It happens to all of us. It happens to literally every time I start a painting. I'm like, oh my gosh, this idea is so exciting. Laying it all out, like putting the block in colors doesn't take very much time at all. And then you're into the details, and then you're halfway through, and then you're almost to the end, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is taking way longer than I thought. Just to let you know, any business also will take you way longer than you think, way longer than you hope, way longer than you think it took that other person, that other artist that you see on Instagram, way longer than you think it took her business to build, because it took her longer than she's letting on. Probably. I'm just saying. Now, I'm not trying to talk you out of trying anything new. We all have to experiment to know what we really want. But I just wanted to point out up front that this kind of thing will happen, and I know from personal experience. Now, I love the business side, so to give you a bit of a look into the Artist Academy and just to further explain exactly what I just mentioned about kind of going in a different direction. So I love art marketing, as you can probably tell. So that's creating as well, and that's really close to my art business as well. Like, I love this, and I love doing it, and I want to share it. So these two things are very, very close related. Being a full-time artist and then starting the Artist Academy, teaching. And so when I decided to start the Artist Academy back in January of 2019, I knew that this is what I was called to do. But what I did not realize is that my mural business would be put on autopilot. And I mean, I'm at a point right now where I'm so lucky that it's easy for me to be consistent with content, which really helps get new businesses, get new clients, and I get referrals now. And so my business is like, it's going good. And so decided to start the Artist Academy. I was like, okay, I can handle both things. But what I didn't realize is that, one, the Artist Academy is going to take so much time. Like, it takes a lot of time to just establish it and establish myself as an educator and creator of courses and all that stuff, and just put stuff out there and onboard new students and just all the things. And so it has taken a lot of time away from my current art business. And this is just complete transparency. And it's okay, because my current business is on autopilot. Like I was saying, like, I get new business, it pays the bills, like I'm booked 5 to 6 days a week, like with that stuff. But how it's suffering is that I have so many more things that I want to accomplish with my art business. So with just painting, like, I want to do more wings, and I want to do them outside of Missouri, and which I do some of the time, but I want to do it more. And I want to sell more prints and not just murals. Like, I have all these things that I want to do. I maybe want to do live painting. I don't know. This is the multi-passionate side of me, right? But I want to keep painting, and I want to keep developing my art business. And what happened when I started the Artist Academy and I focused my attention on others is that my current painting business stayed exactly where it was. And so, I mean, I know that if you're listening and you're an aspiring artist, which you probably are, you're like, well, I would love that. Like, I would love to have a business on autopilot. Like, yes, it's great, and I do not take that for granted. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, murals are good. Working outside in the heat is great, and I like painting outside. But there are so many things that I want to do, and that I don't make the time for it anymore. So, which I'll tell you more about this maybe towards the end after we get through with this whole multi-passionate subject, which is why I'm actually closing down the applications for the Artist Academy Advanced membership on September 1st, and I am focusing solely on my business, and I'm just showing you guys what I'll be doing. So I'm going to be doing it anyway. I need to focus on print sales and the fourth quarter and all that stuff, and I want to bring you guys along with me. And so I don't have to worry about getting new people in, like getting them used to the program, like anything of that sort. So I'll talk to a little bit more about that at the end. Anyway, going back to the multi-passionate side of this. So my point is, basically, you can be multi-passionate. Like, I'm an educator and I'm a full-time artist. You can do both. But just expect for the thing that you started, expect it to stay exactly where it is and not advance anymore, really. Because you're starting something new. You're putting your focus on this new shiny thing, and it is a new shiny thing. It's a hard thing now. Now I'm just dealing with two things that are hard. The Artist Academy is actually harder right now, just to because it's new, and anything new and in the middle is harder. Anyway, okay, multi-passionate. So I actually have a friend, and I will not say her name just because just to protect her, I guess. But we were talking the other night, and she was a big reason why I wanted to just sit down and record this today, because she is at a point where she is extremely multi-passionate. And so I think this talk can resonate with so many of you out there that are at the same level as her. Let's name her. Her name is Sammy. We'll just call her Sammy. And Sammy and I were talking, and she's like, I have this current job, like, it's okay. She's just, I mean, she's working in banking. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. So like, I mean, I think it's okay to say what she's doing. She's currently working in banking, and she doesn't really love it. Like she likes it. Like there's just certain aspects of it that she loves, certain aspects of it that she doesn't, and I think the bad outweighs the good. But she has this beautiful creative side to her, and she loves to bake cakes. She loves to paint. She loves to do all things art. And she's like, I need to get out of this bank job. Like, how do I do it? And I was like, I don't know. So we were just talking about it, and we talked through, and I did this exercise with her that I would like you to do as well. So we were actually doing this in the car the other day. We need to like just go and sit down together and do it. Really, I need to just go over to her house, and we were going to paint together and just figure it out. And so what we're going to do, and what we were doing in the car, is what I advise you to do is just take out a piece of paper and dream and reach for the sky and just write it all down. Write out everything that you like to do. Everything between gardening, between cooking, between baking cakes, between decorating that cake, between painting murals, canvases, all this stuff. All of it. Write it down. And just while you're doing this, also just be mindful that you loving all of this stuff is not what a normal person loves. You know, I think when someone told me this a while ago, they're like, the thing that you are really good at and the thing that lights you up inside is not the thing that might light your neighbor up inside. And so I think the key to being super successful is to listen to ourselves and really play with our strengths. Like put our strengths up and wave it around and be like, this is what I have to offer, and just put a lot of effort into it and just go with what you love, because it is work. I'm not gonna lie. Like there are times I do not want to paint rocks. I do not want to paint another tree that I just painted a whole wall full of trees. Like I don't want to do it, and it's hot out. Like I'm telling you, it is not all like happy-go-lucky over here, but I would much rather be doing this than anything else. Anything else. And so I think about that too when I'm like complaining and I'm like it's hard, but being a working artist is doing it when you don't want to. And I kind of think about that and I'm like, okay, I'll just suck it up. Anyway, so the first step is to write it down, like just get it all out. Like write it on paper so you can physically or visually see it in front of you. Be like, I love baking cakes. I love painting murals. If you don't know if you love it, but you think you might, write it down. Like this is the place to just like throw up on the paper of sparkles and glitter and all the magical things that you could possibly be doing with your life, because this is your life. This is something that you're going to be doing like we spend so much time working like at our job in our lifetime, like as much as we do sleeping, if not more. Like it is an important part, and there's no room for anybody to any longer to spend another hour doing what you don't love. And so this is part of why I started the Artist Academy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm trying not to go off into different directions, but write it all down, get it out, like anything. The sky is the limit. If you want to be an author, put it down. Like if you want to illustrate for an author, you think that would be really cool because you want to see your stuff in books. Like think about it. Like, and if you need to Google art careers, do that. I wish I would have done that. I wish someone would have sat me down and be like, these are the different routes. Actually, I might actually do a different podcast on that. Like these are the different artistic routes that you can go. Sculpture, muralist, studio artist, like all the stuff, and then have them choose. And maybe even get like the benefits of all of them together. That way someone can really choose. Because that's something I wish someone would have laid out for me a long time ago. And just like, you can be an art teacher, but you're only going to make this amount, and you really have to love kids if you want to go down that route. And you have to love children to be an art teacher, or whatever age you want. Anyway, get it all out, and then once it's out in front of you, do an either-or game. So do the either-or game and the things that you have tried. Do the either-or game and things you haven't tried. Okay, So for instance, when me and Sammy were talking about it the other day, she was talking about maybe starting a food truck. And I was like, okay, like that sounds fun. Like that was actually my first business plan. If anybody didn't know, I wanted to do a taco truck or a hot dog truck and travel around the United States selling hot dogs or tacos or whatever I wanted. And then I learned that you have to have, food licensing and all that is just a nightmare. And anyway, so she was like, I kind of want to start a food truck. That'd be really cool, like health food or cakes or this or that. I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, would you rather be a painter or have your own food truck? And she goes, painter. I was like, well, okay, food truck is off the list. We're not talking about it anymore. Because it's very, very possible to be an artist, full-time, to be a painter, to be any kind of artist. And it's possible to own your own food truck, but you love painting more. So really I think she just maybe needed someone on the outside, as we all do, as I do all the time, to tell us, hey, like this is what you like more, or why don't you do that? So we crossed all that off. I was like, no more talking about food trucks. Like, okay. And then we were talking about, I was like, okay, well, we don't want to cross off food entirely. Like, do you like decorating cakes more? Or do you like painting? And I think she said painting, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. This was last weekend. There may have been a couple beers involved. And which, if you need to break out a bottle of wine to do this, go for it. I feel like we get a little more loosened up and creative when when you're like 2 drinks in. I think 2 drinks is like a magical number to really just like let loose. Anyway, probably shouldn't be telling you to go out and drink on a podcast about art business, but whatever. I guess there should be like a disclaimer on here, like, please drink responsibly. Anyway, so cross off everything. Cross off everything until you almost cannot decide between 2 things. And then the third part to this, or if you have like 3 things that you're like, I could really do any of them, like pick one, don't cross them off, pick one and circle it. That would be your ideal job. And then keep the other ones on there too, though. Like, because the next step is to go out and try it. I'm not saying go quit your job. I'm not saying go quit your bank job. Like, don't go quit your job. Like, disclaimer. But go out and try it. Like, I was filling her head full of like, okay, if you want to be a muralist, this is what it is. I haven't watched Netflix in a long time. Like, sometime like around the Christmas, I work 7 days a week, like all this stuff. And she's like, oh, like, but you get to work for yourself and make your own rules. I'm like, yeah, but some nights I'm out till 10 p.m. and then I get up at 5 a.m. the next day. Like, it's not all fun, but it is amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And so just talk to someone who's doing exactly what you're doing and get the inside scoop. Like, get them to tell you, like, what do they love about their job? What's their most common headache? Is it dealing with the customers? What kind of customers? Like, just talk to someone, because I bet if you reached out to almost anyone in any profession, they would love to talk about themselves and talk about their work, because they do it all the time and they're knee deep in it, and they would probably like to vent to you as well. And that would be amazing. So to just get it firsthand from someone doing what you're doing, and yeah, just get all the information. Maybe even job shadow. Like, you remember back in the day when we were in high school and you got to job shadow people? Actually, I didn't do that. My school did not do that. I came from middle of nowhere town, and we just didn't do that. No, we didn't do that. But I've heard of other people doing that. Like, you can go job shadow a cop or job shadow this and that. I wouldn't have even thought to job shadow an artist back in high school, really. But go treat yourself like you're in high school and you don't know what you want to do with your life, because you don't know what you want to do with your life at this point. If you're listening to this because you saw the title and you're like multi-passionate and you're doing all these different things, like, you probably aren't sure. So just do this. Just make a list, cross them off, and then research. Go out and do it. Go out or try decorating a cake. See how hard it is to put that frosting on there. I know, I've tried it recently. I also like decorating cakes, or I thought I did, or I eat too much frosting when I do that. Anyway, I would be like 50 pounds more if I decorated cakes for a living. Do you know how much butter is in that? It's insane. Anyway, okay, getting off topic a little bit. I'm not trying to tell you that I know everything, because I don't. I'm still trying to figure it out. Sometimes I'll even have to sit down with myself and I'm like, okay, murals are great. I love doing murals. I love doing logos, love doing canvases. But right now I'm in a position to where like I kind of need to look at the future a bit more. And I have back problems. I have scoliosis, and being out muraling all day, it really hurts my back. And I'm like thinking 30 years in advance, because I'm a strategist like that. I think two steps ahead. I can't be doing this for forever. Like, it would kill me. When painting down low, painting up high is terrible on my back. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to eventually switch it to more canvas stuff. And so that's just a look into my thing. Anyway, that's a little off topic yet again. If you're multi-passionate, look at what's healthiest for you. If a job requires being out at night, obviously that's not for you. If you want a family, just stuff like that. Okay, where am I at? I made this little notes pad. I think that's it, actually. So just to reiterate, when I first started this episode, don't start something unless you're completely okay with staying exactly where you are in the current project you're in, because the next project will get just as boring as your current project, I promise. Like, I get bored all the time. I mean, I like what I do, and I love what I do. So, like, sometimes I like it, sometimes I love it, sometimes it's just like, okay. But, so, if you really want to veer off a path, just know that the grass is greener where you water it. So if I'm constantly putting out murals, that's what people are hiring me for. If I'm constantly putting out, hey, buy my print, which we're about to do in September 1st, because print sales and custom commissions for Christmas are huge. Murals can wait a lot of the time. Plus, in the winter, when I do murals, like, you can't really paint it in the winter. So I'm really wanting to take advantage of custom work and prints, and that's what I'm about to switch over to September 1st, custom commissions and selling prints. Huge. It is just huge potential in revenue for the fourth quarter. Last year, so just tell you a bit about my last year's plan. Last year, I made about 80% of my total revenue in the fourth quarter, which is insane. Like, it is insane. But that is because I was busy here and there doing commissions, but I wasn't packed, and I had some room to breathe the majority of last year. Up until the summer was okay, but then around September, I was like, okay, I am kicking it into gear. I am getting more consistent. I'm painting all the time. I'm just going to book everything and reach out to everyone. And I started an email list, and I did all the things that we all know we should be doing. And we just don't want to do it because it's hard. And so I did it, and it paid off big time. Big time. I was so shocked doing my taxes at the end of the year, just adding things up. I don't actually do them. I just add things up and give them to my accountant. And I was shocked. I was like, oh, wow. And I worked more than I have ever worked, and it spilled into this year. And I was completely booked January and February, and into this year. March slowed down a little bit, and then it kicked back up in April, May, June, July. It is now end of July right now. I know you're not supposed to say when it's recorded in podcast world, because people could be listening to this months from now. But just to give you a thing, I have been so completely slammed busy for the past year because I implemented this 12-week strategy. I really buckled down and I did it. And I did it, and I filled my calendar, and now I've been reaping the rewards of it all of this year as well. And it's because I gave some stuff away for free. I did some offers. So I did a print giveaway. I did some offers, special offers for certain painting deals, certain times of the year. I listened to marketers much more experienced than me. And I just did it. I started an email list. I kept in contact with my customers. I contacted previous customers. I did all the things, and I made a huge profit in the fourth quarter of last year that spilled into this year. It was insane. So now I want to share that 12-week process with you, and let's just do it together. I'm closing down the applications for the Artist Academy Advanced membership on September 1st because I really truly am going to just buckle down and stop promoting to aspiring artists for a while until 2020. Then I'll be back doing free education in 2020. But I want to buckle down and I want to just focus on my advanced members. And we're going to do this 12-week process together. And we're all going to benefit. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. And I know it works because I did it last year. And I know it will work for you. So, if you would like to apply for this, go to advancedmember.com. It does cost. It is extremely affordable. Honestly, in 2020, I am upping the prices because it's so completely worth it. But this is the first year that I'm trying it out with a huge group of people. And I say huge. I currently have 30 members. I'm accepting another 30 because I like to grow at my own pace. And I don't want to sign up for more than what I think I can give out. And so I'm doing 60 members total in these 12 weeks. And then my focus is going to be on you and on my art business as well. We're going to sell prints. We're going to get commissions. It's going to be awesome. And I cannot wait for a ton of testimonials to come back of exactly what they have accomplished, what you have accomplished if you sign up for the holiday season. And I'm going to use those testimonials and I am as proof. And I'm raising the price in 2020. So if you want to get in now, I highly suggest it. We're going to go through the mistakes that I made last year, what I would do differently. And like one of those mistakes was selling on Black Friday. Like, I was like, heck yeah, everyone's doing it. I should do it now. Like, no. The sales that I ran on other days were actually way, way more profitable than Black Friday. And you think about it, that's when everybody is getting bombarded with sales. Like, that's competition. Like, so we're going to use my specific strategies and do it. And also, I tested it out in October of last year. I ended up making $1,000 in one day of print sales. How crazy is that? That was 1 month in to starting my email list, 1 month in to just educating my customers, putting out content for them, and then I sold to them and made $1,000 in one day. How freaking crazy is that? Like, I'm like, okay, I've got to share this. Everybody needs to do this. Abundance over scarcity. There's enough room for everyone in this art pool, and I want you to join me. So go to advancedmember.com, put in your application, and let's get started. Let's take advantage of this fourth quarter. Okay, I think that's it. If you have any more questions for me about being multi-passionate, I love gardening, I love baking, I love all the things, so I totally get it. But painting is the thing I love the most, and that's the thing I focus on, and that's my advice to you, is focus on the thing you love the most, and I want to show you how to take advantage of it. So yeah, advancedmember.com, I'm out. I am about ready to go out actually and paint again, because I just came in, had lunch, and yeah, I'm gonna go out again. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good week. This episode is sponsored by the Artist Academy Advanced Membership, a program for artists who want to up-level their art game by taking it from a hobby or a side hustle to a full-time art business. I've been a professional artist for over 5 years, with paintings in several different countries and a client list that includes high-profile companies such as Bass Pro, O'Reilly's, Duck Commander, and many, many more. So I figured out what it takes to build an art business, and now my heart is set on teaching aspiring artists like you to do the same. Go to advancedmember.com, that's advancedmember.com to learn more. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Also, if you ever want to join us live and have your questions answered in real time by myself or featured guests, then just hop on over to facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'll see you next week.